What up? T-Bob here.
And Jake as well.
And look at you. You done stumbled upon little OTB Saints, where we bring you all the latest black and gold coverage.
Who are the Saints going to draft? Who's going to be their quarterback? What does the salary cap look like? All that information and more.
Hope you enjoy it. Like, subscribe. I walk into the office this morning, hadn't been here 30 seconds, when Taylor follows me to my office and starts taking. And he told me something truly disconcerting.
Signals?
Taylor, who did you tell me that the Saints are considering for head coach?
Yeah, so this came out Saturday. Diana Rossini was the first to report it. We actually put an article out about it on LouisianaSports.net. Can I interest you guys in Matt Nagy?
Get the F out. Get out of the office right now. I mean, Jake, am I crazy for that
Nope.
being my reaction?
No, you're not.
Why would you credit this man for any of the Chiefs' success?
And somebody's already failed again as a head coach, and you just went through that with Dennis Allen. And
don't you know about Tom Landry?
this is somebody that doesn't call the plays, like T said. Sure, he's in there, and maybe Andy lets him raise his hand and ask a question once or twice during a meeting, but Andy Reid puts that game plan together. He executes the calls. And also, like, Mahomes is probably more of a coordinator than Nagy is.
Like, what are we talking about? That has to be a smokescreen. If that is a legitimate report, and Mickey Loomis, and I know you got to do your due diligence, but I don't think the due diligence in that front is very hard. It's, he's having success. Where is he? Oh, he's in Kansas City? Okay, never mind. Move on.
Yeah.
What are we talking about? And so Taylor was, me and him were talking about this morning. He's like, yeah, I mean, it's Patrick Mahomes. Like, it's a team with not just, it's Andy Reid.
Yeah.
The offensive mastermind. Pat Mahomes just got the 5th one seed of his career. How many different offensive coordinators has he had during that time? Doesn't matter. It's Andy Reid and Patrick Mahomes. I am not going to attribute any of that. Plus, the offense wasn't even good this year. Like, in a shocking twist. They've gotten better. They've definitely gotten better.
I mean, yeah.
They always made the game-winning plays.
For sure, yeah.
But they have, I mean, now that, they get Hollywood and Xavier Worthy, the guy Xavier Worthy comes along. Like, it's gotten better down the stretch. But it wasn't even overwhelmingly good. But even then, I don't blame Nagy for the failure. I don't blame Nagy for any of it. I give him no credit for nothing. And so I think that is just, if you want a name to trigger people immediately here at the start of the search, that is about as triggering as I could have possibly fathomed that you would want to bring in the man from the Chiefs because he's having success coordinating the Chiefs offense, which is so clearly only, like, the genius of it is due to the genius of Andy Reid and him and Pat Mahomes just being perfectly made for one another. Just wild. And again, as Jake said, like, even if he hadn't failed as a head coach previously, I wouldn't be into it because I wouldn't give him any credit for what's going on in Kansas City. The fact that he has makes this, it pushes it to the level of absurdity in my mind. This is some real gum-smacking, haven't you ever heard of Tom Landry ass logic from Mickey Loomis here.
I mean, you look at what he did as a head coach. There was nothing. Like, there's nothing to hang your hat on, and you would just go back to the same situation. I mean, outside of the first year in Chicago, it's a losing record. So I just, this one to me is head scratching. Not a name that I thought any of us would hear. And yet he did go 12-4 his first year in Chicago, which is much better.
That was the double doink year, right?
Yes.
Oh,
much better
brutal.
than anything that Dennis Allen ever did when he was the Raiders head coach. But then it's 8-8, 8-8, 6-11, and gets fired. So, yeah, this is not one that would fire up the fan base. This is not one I don't think that would get anybody motivated. And I'm not even saying the guy's a bad coach. Okay, Andy Reid brings him right back to Kansas City. So I'm not saying he's a bad coach, but he's just not a head coach.
I mean, and look, I'm always open to being wrong, right? Like, I don't have to celebrate the hire if I think the evidence says it's bad. If they hire him and he does great, then I'll gladly eat crow. But I just think this feels awful on the surface. Like, even though I think I am with Jake's theory about, when you have a coach that's on one side of the ball, that's where his expertise lies, and he fails, you generally want to switch it up. I would much rather go Aaron Glenn over Jim Nagy. Jim Nagy, yeah, sorry. Matt Nagy.
Hey, Jim, if you're
That his
looking for a
cousin?
GM,
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, Jim's already interviewed.
I wish we were looking for a GM.
Yes. No.
A little
That's
tired says y'all
definitely-
do realize it's agents putting out this info, right? Yeah, look, again.
Oh,
again,
really? That's how that works?
Again,
Oh, man.
I hope there is not a lot actually here. I'm just getting it on the record per the Rossini report, how I feel about it, and we'll move. We'll see what happens from here on out.
If you could hire, if you're Mickey Loomis, minus the Bubblicious, if you could hire the next Saints head coach, you get the choice.
Again, I don't know that there's anybody that would do good next year. I mean,
I'm not even really talking about necessarily next year.
has Monken been a head coach in the NFL before?
By the way, Doug Peterson literally just got fired. Like, just came across the wire.
Doug.
No, Doug. No, I'm not saying for the Saints.
Yeah, I was gonna say Doug's in a
So
tough
that's
spot.
open.
I would have
No.
loved him a
I'm
few
saying
years ago.
that's open.
Oh, okay.
So
yeah. Another job.
So
open.
you were just about to say Todd Monken.
Yeah. Was he a head coach in Jackson? Was he a head coach before?
No, he's been a coordinator in the NFL, head coach in college.
Okay. Yeah. That's right.
I would go get Todd Monken right now.
Yeah, I think Monken's like, why not be the one to give him? Again, I actually like the Saints maybe giving a coordinator an opportunity here because they're not going to be in a great spot anyway. So like a young guy who's at the top of his game maybe makes the most sense in terms of being innovative and trying to figure things out than maybe a more traditional head coach. And when you look at Monken, why hasn't Georgia won a natty in a couple of years? I firmly believe a hefty portion of it is no longer having Monken. Look at what Lamar's done this year now with Monken. And I understand you wouldn't have near the amount of personnel that he has there, but that would definitely be – that's the name that popped into my head when you asked me the question.
And I've known Todd Monken for a very, very long time. He recruited me when he was at Oklahoma State. He coached here at LSU when I was
I remember I went on a visit when he was a wide receivers coach here.
Yeah, he was a
back in
receivers
the day.
coach here when Les first came over for 2 years.
Very blue eye.
And then he went to the NFL, but he has taken different quarterbacks, different offenses, and he's made them work. Like, he looks at what he has, and then he makes that work, not what he does, and, like, makes the players try to figure out what he's doing. I mean, he's doing great things in the run game in Baltimore. And, look, I know they got Derrick Henry, but still, like, the innovative stuff that they're doing, Lamar's passing numbers are through the roof right now.
And you got AK. AK still, she showed you this year, AK takes care of that body. Like, he's still got juice.
And yes, he is Jeff Monken, the Army's coach's cousin.
I never knew that. I always wondered. I just figured it was just a coincidence. So that would be a name that I would look into. I'll be very intrigued to see what the New Orleans Saints end up doing. But again, just be very wary of choosing a man who's not actually running the offense. Like, as Jake said, not calling the plays and whatnot. Chad is saying John Gruden.
Groomers.
Speaking of nostalgic experiences, I feel like every coach opening for about a decade there, college or NFL, it was John Gruden. There were all kind of rumors that Gruden was coming to LSU. His daughter goes here, something like that. I can't remember.
I saw him in Knoxville. He's going to Tennessee.
Yeah. So sure, John Gruden.
And same with a little bit, not to that level, because you're right, every job, but Jack Del Rio too.
Oh, yeah, Jack
He
Del
had
Rio
that.
to LSU. Now, his daughter did actually go
I know.
to LSU back in the day.
His son, like, when he was trying to figure out what he wanted to do kind of after football, like, he came and co-hosted Hang with Hester with me like 2 or 3 times.
Oh, wow.
Luke?
Yeah.
Oh, did he?
And now he's coach. I think he's a college coach.
I was like, probably coaching.
Yeah. But
Yeah,
like, he was
Jack
like, do I
Del
want to
Rio,
get
you got
into
plenty
radio?
of good inroads to go grind out
Let's see
some
where
coaching if you
Luke
want.
is now. Offensive analyst for the Washington Huskies.
Okay. Shadow staff
Was
created
a
a lot
Commander's
of opportunity for
assistant
guys.
quarterback coach last year.
Bad year to get out of being a Commander's assistant quarterback coach.
Yeah.
Could have felt a lot better having JD5 back there versus who was it last year?
Sam Howell.
Oh, yeah. Oh, man. Daniel about Gruden saying he's a freaking barstool with Mincy. I know. Yeah, I don't know. Who knows? The Saints let Campbell and Glenn out the building and fire Matt Nagy and hire Matt Nagy. Yeah, that would be. How about, you know what's a name that we never mentioned? Guys that got away, Alex Anzalone. You know?
Oh yeah.
Just sitting
Last
there
night,
making plays last
Anzalone.
night all over the place. And now just like, I don't know what this team ever did without Alex Anzalone. Same thing they say about Zach Bond and the Eagles. Same thing about Trey Hendrickson and the Bengals.
Yeah, Hendrickson's so good.
It's crazy. It's crazy.
We'd have to go back. I mean, like I remember those conversations, but not in detail of, make it, because he played well in New Orleans. Like who they kept instead of Hendrickson.
It was Marcus Williams. They didn't want to pay him both. They kept Marcus Williams, but even they moved on from him 2 years after.
Well, the Minnesota Miracle just poisoned things with, because like even in that year, Marcus Williams was actually awesome.
Yeah.
But that single play just poisoned things to a untenable.
Yeah, Chad says
degree.
Caden Ellis. That's another one.
Yep.
He's playing well.
So maybe they're drafted like better than we thought. You're just not keeping the guys. I don't know.
Maybe not developing.
They're
them
bad
as
at first round
fast
picks
as others.
They're
would.
like okay at the middle rounds in terms of. I don't know.
God, and they signed Marcus May to this huge deal, and he's like bouncing around practice squads right now.
So we'll see. Again, it's tough to get excited about a rebuild when you don't necessarily believe in the front office, but nobody believed in 06. They somehow found the magic combination to make it work. I certainly hope that Mickey Loomis can prove us all wrong and that we will be eating crow once again, though I don't feel very positive about it. Wow, just amazing black and gold takes right there, Jake.
I don't think I've ever heard any takes that are better than the two guys that just gave you that take.
And you can keep getting them by going ahead and liking, subscribing, ringing the bell to get notifications when we post. Have a great day. We'll see you on the next OTB Saints.